Hi everyone, Trina here. And we were going to pick up with the Atlantis series, and this is chapter 2, and it's called The Plan Begins. And here we go. So, those who went to Egypt were intrigued by the messages Norma and Rudy received. They received messages on the plane coming home as well. The next trip could be to the Bermuda Triangle to work on a powerful Atlantian vortex near Bimini. Soon after returning home, a woman who had also gone to Egypt named Norma for a private reading. At that session, they asked questions about the proposed trip to Bimini. The answers received from Master Kuthumi contained the first details about the journey, and this was what was reproduced below. A trip is a reality if you choose to go. We would like to personally escort you to the highest energy point known to beloved Terra, and the request that you be accompanied by a group representing the divine. We share the highest memory of that civilization and inform you soon points in the Atlantean energy vortex will be reactivated for the planet. The ideal time for entering the portal is the second week in the month of February. This portal of time will be open for only 3 weeks and will open on the 9th of the month. It is available to you that your journey into the power spot coincide with the opening of this portal. Soon other souls of lesser vibration will be traveling this location and will not be there with purpose. This energy will therefore weaken the connection. Thus, it is important to be there to access the energy before the others disturb the vibration. It is in the vibrations that the encoding will occur. It is in the vortex that the scheduling of the programming will take place. After we received these few details, the thought of participating in such a trip began to become a reality. Although the entire meaning of Master Kuthumi's words were not entirely clear, it was evidence that the trip was important, and one which we wanted to take part. A phone call was made to the travel agent, and the plan was initiated. Soon after, though, word of mouth, others felt drawn also to participate. As we began to take action to make the trip a reality, a concern for many was the money needed to pay for it. A trip to the Bahamas sounded expensive, so we knew we had to create the belief that we would be supported in this adventure. All we were aware of, the laws of manifestation and the techniques needed to bring the desires into reality, it seemed that making the commitment to the journey was a test of faith. The test of faith would be to allow the plan to unfold and trust the financial means would be provided. So as each began to make his or her commitment, magical coincidences started to happen. The travel agent called to inform us that for a limited time, we could get a round-trip airfare to Miami and back, 2 for the price of 1. In other words, half price. This package was only available for travel to Miami, and it just happened to occur when we were beginning to make our reservations. The package also stipulated travel to and from Miami at precisely the times that we were asked. One group member who knew she was destined to make this journey but did not have the money to pay for it, made a total commitment of faith and made reservations to go. When she told her employer and explained that she needed time off, he suddenly offered to pay for the trip in exchange for a child sitting services later at a later date. Not only did she get the time off, but her trip was fully paid for without going into debt. Another woman who did not have any funds but made the commitment, shortly thereafter received a contract for work, which not only paid for her bills but gave her enough money to take the trip, debt-free. Several other incidences occurred which gave many the means by which to pay for their expenses. All these stories were being shared among the group, and there was a sense of wonder and a growing faith in the power of the beings that were guiding us. The woman who initiated the question, providing the first information about the trip, was also concerned about finances. Yet, in spite of her financial situation, just previous to that session, she had made a decision to provide her healing services without charge to the many who would benefit from her work. But she could not afford to pay. Knowing that this work would make her own path even more difficult, she asked Kuthumi how she might bring forth the money that she needed for living expenses and to go on this trip. The reply to her question was beautiful, and it was an analogy which we think deserves to be shared. It gave a common sense approach to the challenge of being on the spiritual path and still supporting life in the physical world. This is a difficult path. It is included here in hopes that it will be of benefit to any reader who has the same concerns in this area. Master Kuthumi. Blessed child, know that the message I am about to impart comes from the group of ascended masters around the Tribunal Council. We begin this dialogue with the study of furniture. Now you wonder why we begin with the study of furniture? I will tell you. The carpenter of the beloved Terra was one who understood the trade of exchange. He made with his heart the most beautiful of all crafts, and provided many with gifts that came from his heart. He could do this because he believed he was the one with whom the world had given the gifts of the Magi. This means that he was able to provide to all with only the charge of God's love, because he had passed all of his initiations, and he could see with clear vision, will, determination, and light. If you possess clarity of these four qualities, then you also possess pure wisdom of manifestation and the gifts of the heart. If you have not passed the tests to the degree that the carpenter has, then we suggest you begin your work on your belief systems of the will. Thy will be done. You possess all the characteristics of the divine and of the carpenter. Yet, only you do not believe this yet. If your belief system does not match your desires, then you cannot command the ability to manifest things to the degree that he did. Therefore, while your training program is in transition, may we suggest you request assistance from both worlds in your support and upkeep. Then, as you begin to increase your belief systems, the divine will become stronger. You could slowly begin to drop the request for payment from the lower third dimensional world and move to the higher realms of the God Force. You will accomplish this feat in a shorter time than you know. We suggest this transition to relieve you of stress that all children of light do not need. Stress produces fear, apprehensions, and thoughts of the lower mind. In those thoughts also comes forth manifestation. For the universe allows you to reap that which you sow. Just like Wayne and I, we were talking about the seeds. These are the seeds of will, the seeds of thought, the seeds of consciousness, and the seeds of emotion. If you move to a point where you can bathe in the divine love and still accommodate some expenses with the heart's request of payment for work well done, then you will alleviate some of the lower manifestations that you are sure to bring to you. Know that each creates his or her own reality by the thoughts each generates. This is exactly going back to what Wayne and I were speaking about the power of our mind and the power of our thoughts. They create the seeds that create our garden and our reality. Reality is a direct effect of perception, and how you're perceiving the world directly affects how you become a participant in the world. And that participation integrated through perception is how we get our deemed personalities. So, if you should heed this advice, you will move on the road of completion much sooner. This is a collective voice of the Tribunal Council. You are free to always follow your own voice, any voice you choose. These are only our words of love sent to you this evening. I close now, but send my peace and love to you. Walk with assurance that all will be provided in the days to come. Learn of the inner calling of wisdom of the ancients and prepare the well for an exciting journey back to Atlantis. I am Cthulhu, your father and guide in this millennium, Adonai. Cthulhu's words told us that we must be practical and grounded in our work here on the physical plane. The message also suggests that we will soon see evidence of our growth and evolution in the manifestations that would occur. Indeed, the events which provided financial assistance for this trip showed many of us that we were beginning to witness the demonstration of this promise. There had been no formal promotion for this trip, but as word spread, the number of people who committed to take this journey continued to grow. Initially, we thought there would just be a few travelers, but as the week went on, the number grew to 20, then 30, until finally there were 34 who choose to meet the destiny, participate in the adventure, and return to the lost continent of Atlantis to reclaim their heritage and help bring to the world to the threshold of the fifth dimension. In the following chapters, you will read the 15 messages that Norma brought through to inform and guide us on this journey. We hope that they will mystify, delight, and intrigue you in the same way that it did us. Perhaps they will even inspire you to make your own sacred journey to Atlantis. While on Bimini, we learned from the islanders that in the following weeks the island would be full of students from the mainland on spring break. Chapter 3, The Agenda. November 11th, 1990. Cthulhu, I surround myself with love and light and request more information regarding the agenda of our journey to Bimini. Good evening, O daughter of the command. I, Cthulhu, welcome the opportunity to come through this evening to provide you with further information regarding the upcoming journey in which you have agreed to participate in. We salute you, Rudy Jr., and the others who will soon make this event a reality. In your adventure, you will find many delightful moments for reclaiming the past memories and the keys that have led you to this present moment, time, space, reality. The key to a successful journey to Bimini will be in your abilities to access the commands code systems. What I mean is that you will receive the symbolism that will make your journey both intriguing and exciting. But reality reveals that the intrigue will actually come from your abilities to decode the keys. In the keys are contained the secrets to the power that Atlantis once knew. This power was the connection of mind energy to source. It was harnessed energy of the sound frequencies that must be combined with the color frequencies for the manifestation to occur. The Rainbow Warriors, activating the light. The key to the future for planet Earth is in harnessing of this energy. For when the decade of cleansing is complete, much that is around you today will have to be reborn. This is the time we're in right now. Therefore, one of the ways that this will occur is to rediscover the paths and the keys of that former lifetime that will be needed and used to rebuild the civilization as you visually see it to be. The keys will be provided to you daily. The series of messages will be assigned each morning over 5 days. The messages will commence on Thursday and conclude on Monday of the following week. All individuals will receive their own coding to decode. Each must be attuned to his or her dual consciousness role, because each will be the receiver of his or her unique day's plan. Throughout each day's journey, each individual will be provided clues to decode the signals that will be sent. At the conclusion of each day, the information that is needed to understand the solutions will then be delivered. This will then have to be synthesized by each participant on the path. We suggest that a discussion group be held at the conclusion of each day's session. The purpose will be to discover the keys and the codes that each one was working on from their day's adventure. The members will be surprised at the similarities in how the unified thinking that will become and occur at the end of each day. If they keep the silence of their day's journey until the end of the evening in the hour's discussion. The parable of the fishermen who became frightened when the storm arose while Jesus was sleeping. It is appropriate at this point. If you recall, it was Jesus who silenced the storm. When the disciples were awakened and forced to face their fears, I recall with much vivid recollection, for that moment was among my experiences. Feelings of desperation may arrive in some of the group when they relive moving into the vortex of Atlantis. It is necessary to relive the storm of emotion, for it will lighten the loads of memories that each of us has carried for such a long period of time. Know that in the releasing of this memory, you will be freed to reclaim your mission and purpose for this lifetime. You have been prepared well in the past, and you are prepared for the purpose of this lifetime. You have been prepared well in Egypt centuries ago, but have not experienced the trauma of physically moving into the vortex of the fatal scene that each of you has known oh so well. Move into this vortex once again. Only this time, you will now play the role of Jesus, and you will calm the storm around you with the power of your higher selves. Hold the phone. This is exactly what the Lord told me my entire childhood. Don't forget you came to be like Jesus. And that's exactly what this is asking us to do, to reclaim our powers of Christ and reawaken the colors and the vibrations of light within you that will activate these codes and these hidden powers just sleeping within. Part of this journey is to help you to reclaim who and what you are by facing the fear of the memory. This is big business, guys. I've went into a little bit of my Atlantian time, and the first vision that I was brought into was dying. And I remember how I died. And I remember what was happening at the precise moment of it. And it was horrible. And it was hard. And I knew there was no escape. But I stayed behind. I didn't try to flee. I stayed in the lab, and I was converting people into sea creatures so they could survive the flood and preserve the consciousness. So I was literally transferring humans into mermaids and dolphins and all kinds of aquatic chimera so they could escape the destruction that was heavily upon us, and it was coming immediately. And I was literally transferring until literally the water was up to my neck. And then I went down with the lab, trying to save as many as I could before it sunk underneath the water. So it was a hard thing to see this. But on the other aspect of it, it was profound to witness the technology and to see what we were truly doing and to see the power that we had connected to through the use of crystals and light and sound and vibration. And this was how all was done in this system. And I have a feeling this is part of how we will rebuild and renew our new world in the 5th dimension. It will be using a lot of these old technologies that we have forgotten about, but many of us were a part of it, and we will remember how to do this and how to reconnect with these beautiful systems, because a lot of it was really beautiful, and a lot of it was too powerful, and the darkness got a hold of it, and there was a battle of darkness and light, just like we're seeing right now. So go through these memories, and when they come at you, and if you're faced with viewing your own death, remember in that moment that you're viewing it, and comfort yourself through the process, and remember that you don't have to feel it. You can just view it. And then as you view it and you process it a little bit, then you can dive into the emotions of it. But view it first and feel it second. This will help many of you processing traumatic memories that may come through in the process of reconnecting to yourself. And this process is also known as collecting the soul fragments. So this is a very important part of our work that many of us are being called forth to do right now. It's reconnecting with the different parts and attributes of your soul, and integrating and healing and processing the trauma that we've been through many of these lifetimes. So when you can move through the fear and move through the process, this is how you move into the vortex again. And you now play the role of Jesus. And you will calm the storm with your power. So information as powerful as what is scheduled to be released cannot be handed out freely to any casual observer who wishes to attend. This information must be received and earned on the inner levels. We advise all be discussed in closed quarters at the end of each day. The actual time for this journey need not be more than 3 days of physical presence on the land of Bimini. The coding will come in 5, however, as we have mentioned. You may stay longer in that vortex, but we will tell you with much assurance that it will be of no further benefit for the transactions that you are destined to take place. The island that you land on could indeed be your place of residence. The North Island is actually a more ideal location for the proximity to the one of the most powerful vortexes on the planet Earth. We advise you to take a journey into the ocean and move 35 miles east to the vortex over the ocean, the structure that allows all time to stop in this location. It is in this presence of one of the most powerful crystal chambers still existing upon Earth today. The crystal chamber is buried beneath the ocean floor. It is scheduled to be opened from February 9th to the beginning of March. It will be seen in the etherics as the first step to anointing the chosen ones with the waters and the oils of Christ. It contains the artifacts of the ancients and the vibrations of the highest. It is one of the few vortexes that can withstand the seventh dimensional frequencies and unite them with those on earth. 7. Rosh, power of God. It is there that we will do much work. We activate many of the power centers on the earth through tunnels, such as this one. They provide us with such power. These frequencies will be powerful and tranquil during the 3-week period. It is predicted that the best time for your journey over the vortex will be Saturday, February 10th, or the numerological significance of the new beginning. Take these instructions very seriously, for they will move your consciousness and the dream that you will create on earth. It will be your renewed consciousness, that each of you will be 5 steps closer to your goal and completion of your missions by the turn of this moment in history. For the other days that you are there, contemplating the number of sands on the beach, learn from the theory of music of the spheres, and find the perfection in the numbers. Take the turtle seriously and discover the coding in the symbolism. So funny, when I just read those words, I literally saw a symbol of a turtle and I literally saw Saturn. Seriously and discover the coding of the symbolism on the back of the shell. Geometry, sacred geometry. Learn of their flight and their fight for survival as they continue to walk upon the shore. Reptilian. Though many difficulties and obstacles to replant their seeds for the preservation of the species, through many difficulties and obstacles to replant their seeds for the preservation of their species. Reptilian. When you journey inward on this trip, know that the mysteries will be encoded within your cellular structures. The Akashic records understand the decoding, and you need only to match the two. Meditate with much discipline before you journey and prepare your mental states to withstand the tests that will befall you. Keep your centeredness at all times, and learn the glory and the light of the most radiant one. This will be the key to your success, handling the intrigue and the destinies that will be yours. I say no more at this time, but I will provide you with more information in the weeks and months to come. Keep alert and move nightly with me into the temples of wisdom in the great central sun. We will converse more intensely on an individual basis, should you choose to join us. Good evening, O daughter. Thank you for bringing this information through for yourself and others. Now please move to make your physical reservations so that we may meet your move halfway with further etheric and esoteric preparations for this event. This journey holds many keys. As we have said before, the true key cannot be underestimated. I am Kathumi, your father and guide for this journey into the unknown. Adonai. In numerology, 1 and 0. In the number 10 add up to 1. the number which implies new beginnings or new cycles. We will begin again with Chapter 4, the Time-Space Lesson. So, I love you guys. I think this is profound, and this is giving me so many wonderful ideas. Maybe we should contemplate on doing a group meditation practice to see if all of us can join and gather some remembrance and visit the Temple of Wisdom in the Great Central Sun. So I'm going to think about that a little bit more. I would love to hear what you guys think about that, and if it would be something we might want to try later as a family and as a group. So, wonderful ideas, and it's blowing my mind how it's talking about how the activation of these old energies are how you become like Jesus. And I've always known that we came here to do this, and I never knew how it was going to be done. I knew it was through an activation, but I always thought it was something coming from the future. I don't think I quite grasped that it would be the reconnecting of something from the past. So that's new information for me, and it makes a lot of sense. So I look forward to that. And I look forward to the reconnection of the ancient wisdom that we once not only participated in, were forefront in the creation of it. So I love you, Soul Tribe. You mean more to me than you will ever know. And I love being on this journey with you, and I am grateful for it every single day. So I love you, and we'll see you on the next one. Namaste. The light in me acknowledges and sees the light in you. Bye.